Hey, this is Adam Knackers of TechieNetworker.com. Welcome to Module 4 of Website 123. And in this video, what I'm going to be showing you how to do is set up your campaign in GetResponse. Okay? Now, to give you an understanding of what a campaign is, basically, this is the equivalent of a list. If you use another provider besides GetResponse, like Aweber, oftentimes they'll call it a list. Okay? And your list or your campaign is basically after someone comes to your site and they opt into your form, they're going to go into this database. They're going to go into your campaign, all right, or your list. And basically, just think of your campaign or your list as a list of all the emails, right, that are going to be managed through GetResponse for this specific blog that you've now created. Okay, so what we need to do first, before we can add the form to your website, we have to create the list. All right, we have to create the campaign and GetResponse. So if you at this point you should have signed up for GetResponse. Again, you can get a 30-day free trial. Okay, and once you have signed up for GetResponse, I believe that in the sign-up process they actually have you create your first campaign. Okay, so you might have already created a campaign, in which case I'm going to show you how. Well, number one, you can add a new campaign once you have, after you've signed up for your account, and also how you can go about editing an existing campaign. Okay, so if you're logged in and you're on the dashboard, if you see this drop down right here where it says your current campaign and you see a campaign name in there, that might be the campaign that you can use for this. Okay, and now think of in terms of how to think about campaigns, more or less, if you have a blog, right, like in your case, you've created this blog for your online business, you want that blog to have a specific campaign just for that blog. And think of a campaign as like equivalent to the niche, right? So if let's say you're doing like online health coaching, right, and that's what your blog's going to be about, you'd want to have a specific campaign for that blog. If in the later down the road you want to move into some different niches, you'd want to create separate campaigns. And I'm just saying this as a way to help you avoid, like, you don't want to have one campaign for a bunch of unrelated niches, okay? So for your blog, what we're going to do first is we're going to create a campaign. I'm going to show you how to do that. So when you're on the dashboard here, and you see this drop down, to create a new campaign is if you click in this drop down, under it, you're going to see create campaign, okay? So the first thing we need to do is create the actual campaign. I'm going to call this one 52, I'm just going to abbreviate it, 52 Weeks of Happiness. All right, and then I'm going to click on Create Campaign. Okay, so now we have the campaign created. All right, and what we need to do next is actually edit the settings. But there's also a preliminary thing we want to do. Basically, when people go onto your list, what you're going to be able to do through GetResponse is send them emails. Now, what you want to make sure you do is that you're sending an email from a custom domain. So recall that in one of the earlier modules, I showed you how to set up a custom domain for your site and a custom domain email. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to add that email to GetResponse so that we can send it, so we can send from that email. All right, and there's a couple of benefits to doing that. When your subscribers get email from your custom domain, it's going to look more professional, but you're also going to find that you get better deliverability if you send from a custom domain than if you send from like a Gmail account. Okay? So what you want to do is right where you see like your little profile pic, just mouse down, and then you're going to see account details. All right? So when you click on account details, what you're going to do is we need to add this email. So you're going to see this right here, this option where it says from email addresses. So what we want to do first is we want to click on add new address. And then I'm going to add this as traveling, Kristen. So this is what is going to appear in the from field when it shows up in people's inboxes. Okay, so you can put your name there or however you want that to display, and then you want to put your domain email in here. So Kristen at travelinghappiness.com. Okay, so after you add this, obviously make sure spelling's all right. Then what it's going to do is it's going to show this verification pending. So now we need to go to our email inbox, and you should get a verification email. So I just paused while I went over to my email inbox and clicked on the confirmation link. You'll find that email, and once you do that, it'll say verified. Until it says verified, until it's a verified account, you're not going to be able to use it with your campaign. So you got to make sure you do this step. Okay? If for whatever reason you don't see that email, and it still says verification pending here, if you click on that, you can actually have it resent. Okay? So once you have verified this email, now what we can do is we can go into the campaign settings. So if you just click on dashboard here, go back to the dashboard. And what you want to do is, I'm going to show you now how you can go back to edit your campaign settings. Okay, so as you can see, here's the campaign that I just created. It's already selected. So if I click on this little gear icon, that's going to take me into the campaign settings. Now I'm going to show you how to set this stuff up. Okay, so for campaign name, you can just leave that. You could change this, but I don't recommend it. Just leave it, okay? Here's a really cool setting where it says subscribe via email. If you turn this on, what this is going to do is GetResponse creates an email for you. Okay, so what it does is it's your list name on the front, so 52WOH@getresponse.net. Now, let's say you were in a conversation or you were chatting with someone that you would say is a good prospect, somebody who you have a bit of rapport with, and they indicate to you that they would love to find out more information from you. What you can do is a really quick way to get them onto your list is just say, hey, send a blank email to 52WOH@getresponse.net. And what that'll do is that will put them on your list. Okay? It's like a really quick way to get people on your list, and I use this all the time, especially when I'm just like in a chat with someone. I find it sometimes it's actually easier than like sending them to a page. If I just say, hey, just send this quick email and you'll get on my list. All right? Just kind of a cool little feature to help you build your list, right? Okay. So notifications, if you leave this on, every time you get a new subscriber, you're going to be notified to whatever email is right here. Now, generally speaking, I turn this off because I've grown a pretty big list and I don't want my inbox flooded with notifications. But I actually recommend you leave this on in the beginning because it's kind of cool, especially when you're first list building, you're just getting started. It's real. It feels good to see that you're getting leads, right? So you'll be notified every time you get a new subscriber. Under profile, this is where you want to give your campaign a title. So in this case, I'm going to call it 52 Weeks of Happiness and save. And under category, I usually change this to whatever if you're in the health niche, you can change this to health. I'm going to change this to travel and click on save. And then you can enter a description here, and you can also upload a logo. I'm not going to do that right now, but you guys can do that. Actually, you know what? I will do it. I'm going to add this image here. Add logo. Boom. Okay, so now that's been added. And welcome to 52 Weeks of Happiness. Now you would obviously probably add a little more to that. What will happen is with this information, when someone actually opts in and they get a confirmation email, this information will be shown to them. So I do recommend that you fill this out, but you can always come back to it. Okay, so now for permission. Okay, at the top here where it says enable confirmed opt-in. Confirmed opt-in means when somebody enters their info into the form on your site, when you have confirmed opt-in on, that means they're going to get an email that they have to confirm before they actually go onto your list. It like adds an extra step to get onto your list. Now, years ago, I used to recommend that people turn this off, especially when they get started and it's their first list, because when you turn it off, that means there isn't that extra step, and more of your subscribers are actually going to get all the way onto your list, right? Well, what's happened recently is, basically a lot of the webmail providers like Yahoo and Google have really made their spam filtering more strict, and so it favors having confirmed opt-in. If you have a confirmed opt-in list, more of your emails are actually going to get through to your leads, your subscribers. Okay? If you have a single opt-in list, more of your emails are going to get filtered out into spam. Okay? So I actually recommend that you keep this enabled. You're going to get better deliverability. More of your emails are actually going to get into the inboxes of your subscribers. Okay, so that's definitely something I would, make sure that you just leave on. Now here for your confirmation message, since you have it confirmed opt-in turned on, a message is going to go out that they have to click on and confirm before they're added to your list. So you want to make sure you change this from field to your new email. Okay, the email that we just added. So in this case, it's Kristen@travelinghappiness.com. If you don't change this, it's going to use the default email. Okay, which is likely maybe your Gmail or your Hotmail account, whatever email you signed up with GetResponse with. But I would make sure that you use your custom domain email here. Okay, you don't have to change the message subject or anything like that. Now, the confirmation page. This is going to be the page that they are sent to after they have confirmed their subscription to your list. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm actually going to make this a custom URL, and I'm going to send them to the first week, the week 1 blog post for 52 Weeks of Happiness. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can set up funnels, and in the more advanced training, I'm going to really go into more depth on how to optimize your funnels. But for now, like I said, we just want to get this to a place where it's like a functional website and a functional funnel for your online business, right? So I'm just going to send them, after they subscribe, when they click on that confirmation link, what they're going to do is they're just going to land on week 1 content, okay? So I'm going to click on OK, and I'll be testing this after we get the opt-in form created and integrated with the blog. I'm going to actually test this and show you how to do that, okay? So after you click on OK, then that's saved, and we have gone through all the main settings for your campaign, okay? And as I said before, if you're on the dashboard, if you want to get back to your campaign settings to update them further, then you just want to make sure that the campaign is selected here, and then you're going to click on the little gear icon, and that'll take you back into these settings, okay? Where you can, just update whatever settings you want to here, okay? So that's all there is to it in this video. Now that we've set up the campaign, what we're going to go into in the next video is showing you how to add the form to your blog, and then your website is going to be ready to go, and with everything it needs for you to just be moving forward, focusing on the activities in your business that are actually going to create income for you, which is creating content, publishing that content, and sharing that content. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video.